Imagine living in a city that attracts millions of tourists every year. It sounds like a dream, right? Boosts to the economy, vibrant streets, and global recognition. But for Spain, this dream is becoming a nightmare.
Thousands of protesters hit the streets in Barcelona to express anger at mass tourism and its impacts on the city. Some protesters even sprayed tourists with water guns as part of the demonstration.
Many Mallorcans are resisting the sell-off of their island, mass tourism, and the consequences. In the spring and summer, tens of thousands of locals demonstrated in the capital, Palma de Mallorca.
The Canary Islands, a top tourist destination known for its beaches, sunshine, and nightlife, are now seeing something unusual. Protest. Not just any protest, but hunger strikes against mass tourism. It might seem strange, especially since tourism is such a big part of Spain's economy. So, what went wrong? Why would locals push back against something that brings in so much money? How did Spain's love affair with tourism turn into an existential threat?
Tens of thousands of demonstrators have taken to the streets of Spain's Canary Islands to demand changes to mass tourism. They say the current economic model harms local residents and the environment. The protesters want authorities to take steps to lessen the negative effects of so many tourists.
Spain's tourism boom has its roots in the late 20th century when the government encouraged development along its coasts to attract foreign visitors. Over the years, tourism transformed from a seasonal boost to a full-fledged economic lifeline. In the past decade, tourism in Spain has grown exponentially. The country ranks as the second most popular destination in the world, with around 85 million international visitors in 2023, rivaling countries like France and the United States. This surge has brought billions into Spain's economy, contributing approximately 92 billion euros in 2023 alone. Tourism supports 13% of Spain's GDP and 2.7 million jobs, making it a crucial sector for the nation's economic health. Yet this success comes with mounting challenges for local communities. From crowded beaches and depleted resources to strained public services and housing markets that locals can no longer afford. Mass tourism in Spain's coastal and island regions has placed immense pressure on local resources. The Balearic Islands, home to hotspots like Ibiza and Mallorca, are experiencing a sharp increase in water consumption due to tourism. A report by Ecologists in Action found that, during peak season, tourists account for nearly half of the Balearic's total water usage. In 2022, the island saw record levels of drought, with water levels at critical lows, worsened by high visitor numbers and increasing demand on the water supply. Additionally, the waste generated by tourists has overwhelmed local waste management systems. The Costa del Sol, one of Spain's most visited areas, produces nearly 250,000 tons of waste annually during the tourist season, 35% more than in off-peak months. This is coupled with increased CO2 emissions from tourist activities, such as air travel, car rentals, and cruises, that account for a significant portion of Spain's annual emissions. For instance, a single cruise ship docking in Barcelona emits as much pollution in a day as 12,000 cars. Adding to these challenges is the housing crisis, another major issue fueled by mass tourism. Cities like Barcelona have become playgrounds for tourists, with rental apartments transformed into short-term stays through platforms like Airbnb. While this is great for visitors, it has created a housing crisis for locals. In Barcelona, short-term rentals have led to skyrocketing rents and a lack of affordable housing for residents. According to Barcelona City Council data, average rental prices increased by 38% between 2014 and 2019. And in neighborhoods like Barceloneta, rents have nearly doubled in the same period. In Madrid, housing costs have risen by over 40% in the past decade, partly due to tourism-driven demand. Tourism-driven gentrification has pushed locals out of central areas, transforming neighborhoods into high-turnover tourist zones. In Palma de Mallorca, for instance, 20% of housing units in the historic center are now reserved for vacation rentals. This shift not only disrupts community ties, but also prices out families and long-term residents, changing the social fabric and making it harder for locals to find housing within their own cities. But the challenges don't end with housing. Cultural dilution and over-tourism are taking their toll as well. While tourism has introduced Spain's rich culture to the world, it has also commercialized many traditional aspects of Spanish life. In Barcelona's historic Gothic quarter, traditional shops and artisan businesses have given way to souvenir stores and chain restaurants, Many Spaniards feel that their culture is being sold to meet tourists' expectations, turning authentic experiences into shallow displays that lack their original meaning. A study by the University of Barcelona revealed that nearly 70% of residents in central Barcelona feel that mass tourism has negatively impacted their quality of life. This phenomenon, called overtourism, refers to a situation where the number of visitors overwhelms a destination, making it difficult for locals to enjoy their own cities and resources. Overtourism often leads to tourism phobia, a backlash from locals frustrated by the impacts on their daily lives. So, in response to these issues, the Spanish government has started implementing policies to address the impact of mass tourism. Barcelona, for example, has imposed strict limits on new hotel construction and restricts short-term rentals in central areas. A 2019 law caps the number of available vacation rentals in the city to prevent overcrowding and ensure more housing for residents. Another approach is the use of tourist taxes. The Balearic Islands, for example, introduced an eco-tax in 2016, which varies from €1 to €4 per night depending on the type of accommodation. This tax, which generates over €120 million annually, is reinvested into environmental conservation and infrastructure projects, helping to alleviate the strain of tourism. Spain is also experimenting with marketing strategies that promote slow tourism. This approach encourages visitors to spend more time in a single location, connecting with local culture and reducing the environmental impact of traveling to multiple cities. For instance, regions like Galicia and Extremadura, which are less frequented by tourists, are promoted as alternatives to popular spots like Barcelona and the Balearic Islands, which suffer from overtourism. Experts recommend a shift from mass tourism to quality tourism, focusing on attracting higher-spending tourists who stay longer and engage in sustainable activities. Quality tourism not only generates more revenue, but also reduces strain on infrastructure and natural resources. Spain's National Tourism Plan 2021 to 2024 supports initiatives that promote ecotourism, improve public transport to reduce car dependency, and restrict new construction in sensitive areas. Regions like Costa Brava have embraced the ecotourism model, offering activities like cycling and hiking rather than focusing solely on beach resorts and nightlife. Hotels are encouraged to adopt eco-friendly practices, and some even offer discounts for tourists who engage in sustainable travel behaviors like avoiding single-use plastics and using public transport. Ultimately, sustainable tourism benefits everyone: the tourists who seek authentic experiences, the locals who need a livable environment, and the ecosystems that cannot sustain infinite visitors. By rethinking its tourism model, Spain has the chance to protect its cultural heritage, preserve its natural beauty, and ensure that future generations, both residents and visitors, can enjoy everything Spain has to offer. So, what are your thoughts on sustainable tourism? Share your experiences and ideas in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon for more insights into how the world we love is changing. Until next time.